Try it. Try it.
Try it.
Try it.
Try it.
Try it.
Snack? Did somebody say snack?
Good evening. So welcome to Sunday Sampler, formerly known as Try It Tuesday. We will get a new Sunday Sampler intro soon, but for now, we still just like the snacks intro. So, what do we got going today? Today, Korean snacks part 2. Last week we did part 1, so if you would like to go see that, I'll figure out how to post a comment in chat, but we'll see. So, we have, I don't know, this whole box still. I told you, there was a lot. There was like 35 something in there. I don't know. Some of them are redos. Like, I've already tried them. So, I don't know. I guess I'll just have to hopefully remember. If anybody knows me, you know that I don't remember anything. But we'll just have to try and remember what I've already done. Hopefully, I'll figure it out. But, you know, it is what it is. So, I guess if I try new ones, I'll eventually remember, right? You would think I would remember? Who knows? Okay, so what are we going to do? Oh, man. What's happening? Okay, what are we going to do tonight while we try snacks? So I found this cool case that is a, so the trial itself, there is no trial. However, it seems pretty interesting. It's not a live trial, it's a historic trial. I have a couple that I'm trying to find that I'm super interested in, but I feel like maybe we can start with this one and see how it goes. So the trial, the guy pled guilty. So there's no trial. However, there is a sentencing phase, which is supposed to be super interesting. So let's read a little bit about the trial and we'll see how far we get and if that's something I'm even interested in. I know nothing about it. I just saw it tonight. So we'll start, and if I hate it, then we'll just abort mission. Like it? Yeah, I like that too. So I will bring it up and we'll get, oh, sorry, I'm like messing with all my stuff over here. We'll get a little bit more information about it and see how that goes. But first, let's try a snack first. We'll just go from the top of the box, yeah? So, these are Korean snacks, allegedly. I don't speak Korean, so I don't actually know. This one has no Korean writing on it, so we'll see if it's actually Korean. But it's called Poto? Town in Oklahoma named Poto. Adorable cracker sand? That sounds messy. Cheese tart. I'm guessing some sort of cheese cracker, but I guess we'll find out. Okay. Oh, yeah. So they look and smell like just cheese crackers. You know, those like... those Ritz ones, you know, with the... Man, my camera is on the struggle bus. Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Cheese cracker. Why is it sweet? Don't like that. It tastes like a cheese cracker. Oh, see, now it's all in my hair. I don't know why it's called cheese cracker sand. Because it like breaks into pieces of sand and ruins your life. But it tastes sweet. Like a weirdly sweet situation. Like a cheese cracker that they added sugar instead of salt to. Not a fan. But I don't like sweet and salty. So I think that might be a personal problem. Maybe other people would like it. So I guess if you ever get some Korean snacks, try that out. See if you like it. Good evening, JKD Buck. Okay. So let's do some... Oops. Reading on this case and maybe watch some of the penalty phase when we decide that we like it. Yeah. Oops. No. Hold please. Gotta unmess up myself here. I can't say any bad words, but my browser has blocked my screen. Click on, oh gosh. Okay. Sure. Here we go. I don't need you anyway. Share screen. Sure. Good evening, Shinny. Sorry I disappeared from your chat earlier before I said goodbye. The tot was banging on my door for bedtime. She's very serious about bedtime. So, okay, here we go. The true story of Rod Farrell, the killer who thought he was a vampire. Now, I know absolutely nothing about this. I've never heard of this. It occurred in November 25th, 1996. So I was 6 in 1996. So that might be why I don't actually know anything about it. So, the idea of a vampire cult on a killing spree in the United States sounds like something out of a movie rather than real life. However, that's exactly what happened in 1996 when Rod Farrell and several others who were part of his group viciously murdered an innocent couple in Florida. The gruesome case led to widespread coverage in the media and resurfaced fears about the occult in the U.S. Shocker. It's important to consider the events leading up to the double killing in 1996 and examine Farrell himself. It's the only way to discover exactly who he was and why he committed such horrendous crimes. Okay, so has anybody in chat heard about this before? Oh, Shinny has. He and a few others killed someone thinking they were vamps. So this guy killed somebody else because this guy thought he was a vampire, or he thought the people that he deleted were vampires? You're in your college year. Yeah, I was in like first grade, I think. Yeah, I've never heard of it either, so one of the gals' name was Charity or something. Well, this is like a pretty solid article explaining everything that happened, so I guess we'll find out together. And then there is a whole lot of videos on his on the sentencing phase, which should be interesting because he pled guilty, so there was no actual trial. So, the double deletion of Richard Wendorf and Naoma Ruth Queen took place on November 25th, 1996. 4 members of the vampire cult had traveled from Kentucky to Florida. They were planning to pick up Heather Wendorf, who wanted to run away from home and join the group. Oh, how kind of them. Farrell and Scott Anderson arrived at the home alone, while Heather met up with the other 2 girls who made the trips, so there were a few of them. Once inside the home, Farrell killed Richard using a crowbar, beating him over the head more than a dozen times. That's rude. When Richard's partner Queen arrived downstairs moments later, she attempted to defend herself by throwing hot coffee at Farrell. He proceeded to smash her with the same crowbar. Their bodies were found soon after by their other daughter, Jennifer Wendorf. So it was his partner that he did. Yes, he and his friends thought they were vamps and took in victims. Weird. Let me scoot over. What is happening? Okay. Interesting. They were on my mind so much in January. That is strange. And then for me to like randomly cross that trial to see what it is because a crowbar. Right. Well, you know, maybe he's a new age vampire. He might be. Okay. So he believed he was a 500-year-old vampire named Vesigo. I feel like I need to say that with an accent. I am a vampire named Vesco. Vesco? I don't, whatever. I sound stupid. I don't actually know how you say that. Really? Well, you know, I'm sure there probably isn't a handbook, right? Okay. Perhaps the most bizarre aspect of the case was the fact that Farrell believed he was a 500-year-old vampire named Vesigo. He claimed he was part of a vampire cult and that the other members were part of a unique brotherhood, a blood brotherhood. The belief stemmed from his own obsession with the game Vampire the Masquerade. Listen, if you're playing a game so much that you start to believe you're one of the characters, I think it's time to take a little breaky break. According to Aphrodite Jones's The Embrace, he became obsessed with role-playing games at a young age. When he began playing Vampire the Masquerade with like-minded individuals, he developed a fascination with the idea of vampirism. By the time he was 16, he had... Okay, well... Oh, do we want to hear his background? I guess we should watch his background. By the time he was 16, Farrell had just become a highly destructive young man. The teenager was not just using drugs. but has turned his bedroom into a shrine of the occult. That's not creepy at all. Where are your parents, sir? Court documents claim he had been observed taking part in satanic rituals and self-harm, going back as far to carve an upside-down cross onto his own chest. That is dedication. I feel like they watch too much Vampire. I love that show. Well, okay. I do love that show. The Originals is better, though. Just saying. Originals is always better. Yeah. Mostly because I love New Orleans and it's obviously based in New Orleans. But it's fine. Okay. Here we go. In an interview, he said, everything I was listening to, it was dark. It was based upon hate, war, death, pain. That's all my music, movies that I watched. My bedroom was an array of the darker side of the occult. I had upside down crosses. I had the broken shards of glass lying around in the corner. I had hooks and metal cables wrapped around looking like sounds like a fun time. Oh, look at that fancy picture. Okay, sorry. I tend to jump ahead. Oh, I forgot. I'm so involved with reading this that I forgot about actually trying a snack. So let's do it. Okay. What do we got? 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 We got chocolate and marshmallow. I like both of those things. Solid. Oh, this one's actually really cute packaging. Let's see. What was the second series? So there was the Vampire Diaries, and then there's the Originals, which is a spin-off of the Vampire Diaries, with the original vampires in New Orleans, and then Legacies, which is like a spin-off, but like one of the kids, like it's a kid's school. But I never really watched Legacies. I only watched a few here and there. Yeah, the Originals. I've been re-watching the Originals, actually, because I really like it. All right, let's do this. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how to tell you about spoilers, but it basically follows a magical boarding school, and you see some familiar characters from the other shows. It occurs mostly after the events after the events of Vampire Diaries. Okay, so chocolate marshmallow. I don't know what it's actually... Lonks? I don't know. If anybody reads Korean... That's upside down. If anybody reads Korean, you can tell me what it says. But... it's a Korean thing, but it has London on it. So that's really confusing in like the red bus. So it's a English Korean snack. I do. I should have Jeff, I should send him pictures of all these snacks and be like, hey, can you translate these for me before I go on stream and sound like an idiot? I could probably use Google Translate, but I don't trust it. Okay. So it looks like a I don't know what those things. My kid likes them. Yeah? Okay. Oh God. Oh no. Yeah. See? This. Why? If I have to fluff my hair out after eating a snack, then it needs to do a better job of snacking. That's all I'm saying. But, okay. So, marshmallow situation on the inside. Some sort of cake situation. Kind of feels like foam. Oh my God, it's getting everywhere. And some chocolate. Very good. I'd eat that. I don't want to, but I would. Oh yeah, I'd have to ask Danny too. I know. Well, hopefully sometime in the next 47 years, I'll be finished with this snack box, but... Yeah, crispy chocolate around marshmallows, a hair magnet. Yeah, I know, it is, I don't know if you can, what is this? How do I even... Oh. Maybe Mr. Griff will be happy. Snacks for later, right? Snacks in bed? Wait, just excuse me while I fluff all the crumbs out of everywhere. Okay, back to Vampire Homie. After committing the blips, Farrell and Scott Anderson picked up the girls and left Florida. They crossed 4 different state lines as they attempted to keep a low profile from police and ensure they could start a new life as a group in New Orleans. Well, there you go. That explains a lot. If you're going to be a vampire, do it in New Orleans. They were eventually arrested in Baton Rouge. Charity. See, there you go. You knew her name was Charity. You remembered that. Your brain says yummy marshmallow and chocolate, but your tongue says spray and foam insulation and cane wine. Yeah, honestly though. And because it had that weird cake stuff in it. It was foam. It was weird. I've ate that out of my own hair. Yeah, I have eaten things out of my hair before. Like a chimp. Okay. Charity contacted her mother asking for extra money. In doing so, she informed the police of their location and where they were planning on staying, and the officers were waiting when they arrived. You know, I feel like that I don't remember an offing, but I swear that I watched some sort of video documentary situation, and it was about people living as, like, it was like a true life, I'm a vampire or something. Anyway, the young cultists tended to meet and perform most of their blood rituals at a location dubbed the Vampire Hotel Original. This was an abandoned former home that had been, you probably guys want to probably see the article too, so you can read along. Yeah, there we go. You can't see the picture if I don't put it up there. This is an abandoned former home that had been left to crumble in the thick woods around Kentucky. It was a secluded area because it was hidden from view and rumored to be haunted. Well, reportedly the vampire clan would not only drink each other's blood there, but also torture one another for gratification. Okay, but what do you mean by torture? I have questions, but I don't know what kind of... I don't think I want to know. All right. The cult that Farrell created was known as the Vampire Clan by its members. It's unclear how many individuals were involved in the group, but some of their activities have been recorded. They apparently... Oh, have they? Can we watch that? That sounds fun. They apparently met at locations including cemeteries and took part in rituals that involved cutting themselves and drinking each other's blood. I want to drink your blood. See? I have my snacks and they have theirs. The cult was made up of 5 key members, although authorities believe that there may have been up to 30 people involved in the vampire clan before the deathings took place in 1996. 5 key members were a part of the investigation. This included Farrell, Scott Anderson, and Charity, who were all 16, as well as Heather Wendorf, the daughter of the victims. Farrell met Wendorf while living in Florida, and the pair continued to communicate by telephone. Oops. Sorry. I just got like a notification that stopped crying. Communicate by telephone once he moved back to Kentucky. Sorry, taking a second to make sure that Mr. Grift has the tot taken care of. I think they had all their fingers and toes, so there wasn't too much torture. Yeah, I guess so. Farrell met Wendorf while living in Florida, and the pair continued to communicate by telephone once he moved back to Kentucky. Despite the fact that Farrell was the most famous of the group, it was actually led by 19-year-old Dana Cooper. Following his trial, Farrell was placed on death row. During his 2 years where he lived, he was the youngest person on death row in the United States, but his execution was canceled following a ruling by the Florida Supreme Court. The court determined that at 16, criminals were too young to receive a sentence of death. In 2000, Farrell's sentence was commuted to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. Later, a new court ruling declared juveniles could not be given such a sentence, so it's possible that his term in prison could be limited to a matter of years. Hold on, guys. I'm going to have to pause you really quick. I will scroll back up and leave you. Give me just a minute, okay? Okay, all good. So, oh, here we go. I went down. Whoopsie daisy. It might not have originally tended to delete Heather's parents. Despite the fact that he admitted to them, the others in the group confessed to knowing part of the plan to take out the couple. He has maintained that this was never the plan and said he was simply trying to steal their car so that he could use it to get Heather out of what they believed was an abusive home. He blames the fact that he had taken drugs and the adrenaline from the situation for him losing self-control and lashing out at the couple. 4 of the group were charged and found guilty. He pled guilty to the murders almost immediately. This may have been a ploy to move the blame away from the other members of his vampire clan. That's very kind of him. He only implicated Anderson in the actual crime. Prosecutors alleged that Dana and Charity were aware of the plan, and they were charged with third-degree murder in Florida. The 4 were all found guilty. I would hope so. This was in 1996. Charity got out and you became YouTube friends with her? Oh, well, let's talk to Charity. That sounds fun. A 19-year-old leader. How could things have gone wrong? 19-year-olds know everything. Just asking. Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? Oh, see? Good job. Yeah, I got married the day after I turned 20, so I was basically 19. I don't regret it, obviously, but 19 is really young to be making life-altering decisions. So, meanwhile, despite attempts by police to get Windorf to confess that she wanted her parents gone, she continued to maintain her innocence. No charges were ever brought against her. What's this video? Let's watch.
Teenage vampire Rod Farrell's lust for blood has just gone into overkill. Beating Richard and Naoma Wendorf to death with a crowbar. Such a savage frenzy that his right-hand man, Scott Anderson, was frozen in shocked disbelief.
And then Scott said, yo, bro, you're covered from head to toe in blood.
And the band of fugitives heads toward New Orleans and Mardi Gras, taking an out-of-the-way route to try to elude a nationwide police manhunt.
They look like nice, upstanding citizens. Was I ready to run a blood drinking cult? No, I was not ready for that. Yeah, I think it said she was 15 or 16. I think she was maybe 15 when it started and then 16. Show you a pic of Charity, please. Yes, I will find one for you. One moment. Let's see if we can find her. Okay, I believe that this is her, Shani. So let's see if we can share that one. Share. That is Charity. That's a terrible picture, but here you go. Does she look correct? Man, prison has been rough on her. Okay. So, oh, Jenny, you're funny. She said I was talking to the video because I do that. However you can, I appreciate it. Yeah, oh, I think, let me try again if it didn't pull it up. Let me see. I'll try again. Do. Let's try it. Let's try it. Share. Share? Why? Why are you not sharing? Oh, duh. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if there's a... They're all kind of weird, but... She, she was... Somebody math for me. If she was 15, 16 in 1996, how old is she now? I have a feeling she probably looks a lot older than she really was. I don't know who those ladies are, but... Okay. So, let's go and try this again. Hello. Why are you... Okay. Thank you. Love that. All right. Yeah. Is this your Smasher, your unofficial Smasher Pass poll? Yeah, she does look like she's had a hard life, but that said, I don't know, maybe they'll show her picture in this video and we'll see. What on earth? Okay, here we go.
Rod tells our special correspondent, Phil Chalmers, author of the Encyclopedia of Teen Killers, that after dumping the murder weapon and other evidence in the Mississippi River and taking off his bloody clothes at a gas station, the car full of wanted teens would actually be pulled over by police 5 times.
So how could you be stopped 5 times and not arrested?
They were expecting a teenage cult-leading psychopath. And instead, I was speaking to them with every courtesy.
When they're
Whoa.
stopped for the 5th time,
That doesn't mean you're
right
not a
after reaching New
teenage
Orleans,
cult-leading
they
psychopath.
change their plans and drive on to Baton Rouge, where they figure they can keep a lower profile.
I figured I was a dead man, for real. Because I knew if at that point any of us got caught, it was going to be the electric chair. Or
Now I want to
shot
know
on
who you
sight,
know.
probably.
But Baton Rouge is exactly where their luck runs out. Rod's girlfriend Charity calls her family, who inform the police, who then in turn trace the number to a motel, where all 5 fugitives are arrested just 3 days after the murders.
Whatever
Oh,
delusions
wanted her
fantasies
back
I
there,
had were
Shani.
over.
But Rod and Charity seem remarkably unconcerned in this
Ew!
arrangement, showing them passionately making out in their holding cell.
No! 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 Bad! Where's my spray bottle? Somebody... Psst, psst. Guys, come on. Come on. It can't be that fantastic. Like, in your holding cell?
Before
I could
being
live my whole
extradited
life without
back to
seeing that
Florida
again.
Amid a media frenzy.
It just struck me. I'm like, they're all here because of murder. They're just here for the ripe amusement, the entertainment that this murder's bringing people.
Rod confesses to murdering Richard and Naoma Wendorf on his
Whoa.
own, performing like a circus act in the hope it would help his
Hold
4
on.
followers go free.
Guys, I think I can make my hair do that. Let's go back for a second. Get away from here. Go. Here, let's see if we can go back and
Wendorf
I'll
on
pause
his
it
own,
when we show him.
performing-
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna have to take my headphones off. This is the Mrs. K Grift does cosplay a vampire murder ringleader. Hold, please. Can we make it happen? Let's see. I don't know if I can make my hair do that. Do I look like a crazy person? Yeah, see, let's not do that again. That was not an attractive look for anybody. Oh gosh. Okay. Anyway, you're welcome, I guess. From a woman. Get her Windex. She didn't want to see two. Yeah. Well, I think
Like a circus
it wasn't.
act.
To clear it up, it wasn't because it was maybe 2 dudes. It's more the fact that they were tonguing in a holding cell. But you have hair like I used to. Add humidity and yes, yeah. The humidity is so bad. And I mean, in fairness, I haven't washed my hair in like a week, which is gross. it is buzzed right down the middle. I see that. Like what is this railroad track? All right, play.
In the hope it would help his 4
Sorry.
followers go free.
And when I found out about the sensationalism, I was like, okay, it's working. They're looking at me and not these other people. They're not going to look at them as monsters. They're going to see me as the monster, and that'll help them.
How noble.
But police would like to know who knew about the killings and when they knew it, interrogating all 4 of his so-called disciples.
Why are you guys questioning me? I didn't do anything.
Charity is still pining
Oh, that's
for
Charity.
Rod.
Blech.
I don't want to be separated from Ron. That's all that's wrong with me. I don't want to be separated from Ron.
Detectives
Well, I have bad
finally
news
get
for you.
Charity, also known as Shay, to admit she knew of the plan to kill Heather's parents, but tried to persuade Rod and Scott not to do it.
Oh, you're probably right.
Dana
That makes more
Cooper tells
sense.
police the same thing.
And you heard both of them with your own ears say, "Hey, we're going to kill the parents."
I heard Rod say it. Scott just nodded his head.
Whoops.
Went with Rod. Me and Shay did try to convince him not to do it.
Yeah, it's still disgusting.
Not to do what?
You're going after.
Kill her parents.
What was the reaction to that?
There's like, well, there's no way.
I mean, Great Bar Hotel. I can say, I guess it's better for them to make out in their holding cell that has a video recording than it would have been to like sit there and talk and implicate themselves further, right? You would think. Okay, let's do another snack while I stop. What do we got here? Mystery. It feels like some sort of cracker. I don't actually know what it is. Yeah? Your guess is as good as mine. There is no English writing that I can see. So, but it feels... If Charity was the one who's kissing, it might be the one that I know. Yeah, I do think... It did say that Charity was the one he was kissing. She looks a lot different now. Mm-hmm. yeah, you do have to be so careful. It's so hard because I'm very fortunate to have a lot of friends that I've made on YouTube. We talk, we share stories about our life, all that, and you know, you get really close to people because some of these people I meet online, I talk to as much, if not more, than sometimes my real life friends, right? And so you feel like you know them, and then all of a sudden things start to happen and, you know, they stab you in the back or whatever it is. So, you know, it really sucks. But there's not really anything you can do about it, unfortunately. Charity. More like Scaredy. I actually have a friend with a similar name. I'm going to start calling her that.
By the way,
Oops.
it was like talking.
And then Scott admits his role in the killing.
So your intentions were to go up there and assist him in that?
Yes.
And how were you going to assist him?
I was going to go after the father, I was going to go after the mother. But then, when I
Got distracted. I forgot to try my mystery crackers. Okay. Maybe it's a cookie. Like a butter cookie. Yeah. They like a shortbread cookie. That's pretty good. I don't mind it. Eat that with some lemon dip or something. You want something in the back? First of all, I feel like that's what they all say. Second of all, you gonna stab me in the back or are you gonna hit me with a crowbar? Lego.
So I make the first blow, I know I could.
Now, police try to find out if new cult initiate Heather knew Rod was going to murder her parents.
I remember telling him flat out, don't even go near my parents.
Why would you tell him not even to go near your parents?
Because he asked me not too long ago if I wanted my parents dead or alive, and I said straight out I wanted them alive.
Why did he have an obsession of killing your parents?
I don't know. Probably because he knows if he kills my parents, then I'd probably come to him. I probably wouldn't have anything to stay in Florida for.
Dana Cooper.
Oh, so I showed Dana. Cherry looks exactly like the one I met, and yes, we shared everything. Worry, care, concern, events, all kinds of things in the family. Wow. Wow. Interesting. I'll have to go find... Let me see if I can find a recent one. Let's see. See, I told you I didn't plan for this at all. Oh, wait. I was going to try to see if I could find... Oh, I think this is her. Let's try again, Jenny, and you can tell me if this one is her. Whoops. I'm just going to push buttons, right? Push buttons and hope for the best. Isn't that what everybody does? Okay. I think that's Charity. Is that right, Jenny? Is that the correct one? I think that's her. Yeah, she's really pretty. That must be the right one. Yes, that's what I put on. Time will tell. That does not sound very promising. I'll never stab you in the back. Thank you. Nor send a minimally buzzed man boy to crowbar you. I appreciate that. That's really kind. Yeah, my first concert. Not Mbop Hansen. May not be her, but dang, man, now I want to know if it was her. That is insane. If that was, like, what are the chances if that was actually her? That 90s outfit, love it.
Until they were on their way to New Orleans.
When did Heather know that her parents were dead?
Charity told her right as we was getting ready to leave Florida.
What was her reaction?
She started freaking out real bad.
But police keep the heat on Heather.
You chose to go with the man who killed your parents. We're trying to find out why.
You don't know how upset I am inside.
Yes, it does.
How did he keep you there?
He just told me that I didn't have a choice to go or stay.
Heather denies hating or being mistreated by her parents and is ultimately exonerated by a grand jury, which finds she was not aware of the plans to murder her mom and dad. Charity Kesey and Dana Cooper each plead guilty to a variety of lesser charges, which include knowing about Rod Farrell's murder plans.
Whoop.
Charity is sentenced to 10.5 years.
Oh.
While
All
Dana
that
gets
work.
17.5
Hold on.
years.
All that work and then they end up showing it? That's some BS. She is really... Yeah, that does look exactly like one of the Hanson guys, though. It absolutely does, without question. I feel like we need to play a little embark. Chances are huge we're no longer in touch as I remember the story and slowly making comments about I love you even if you died time for being a vamp and killing someone. That is crazy, Shinny. Why is my forehead located in a different area code from my face? Because it likes it there and it's fun. Hey, also for my YouTube friends, I did start streaming on Twitch, if you can't tell. Isn't that fun? Yeah. I don't know who that is. Now I gotta Google it. Thanks, JK. I'm gonna feel dumb. Once I look it up, I have a... Oh, yeah. Yeah, that does look like him. I don't want to pull it up because I don't want to stop the other stream. Call Boeing. Would be a decent runway. Yeah. Land a plane right on my forehead. Might as well, right? Little airstrip. That's okay. I looked it up. You're right. It does look like him.
Both have since been released from prison. Scott Anderson pleads guilty to being a principal to first-degree murder and is sentenced to life without parole. And Rod Farrell gets the max.
You are hereby sentenced to death.
But Rod almost welcomes it.
The concept of them killing
It is
me
a five-head.
didn't really faze me. That's why when they announced my death sentence, I just kind of cocked an eyebrow. I was like, okay.
The sentence was later commuted to life without parole
Maybe.
because Rod was just 16 and still a juvenile when he committed the murders. Then the U.S. Supreme Court declared life without parole unconstitutional for juveniles. And just last year, the state Supreme Court ruled that all juvenile killers with automatic life sentences must be resentenced.
Evidently, there's a very strong possibility that I'm going to have life without parole commuted to a term of years.
Evidently. Well,
Which means
sir.
that after 20 years behind bars, Rod the vampire murderer could be a free man anytime now. And he already has his new life planned.
I have a house, I have a woman, I have a job waiting on me. I even have a cat and a dog waiting.
Do you?
Which sends chills down the spine of Al Gussler.
He's going to still be the same Rod Farrell.
We showed the retired detective an excerpt from Phil Chalmers' prison interview with Farrell.
Nobody has to worry about me being the child monster I was.
Do you think you deserve a second chance?
I believe all children deserve a second chance. Actually, I believe everybody in life deserves a second chance.
He didn't give a second chance to the brutal murder of the mother and father. So, no. As far as I'm concerned, you can stay there for life.
What do you say to people that would say, when you get out, Rod, you're going to go right back into it and you'll be back here again?
I would tell them that's not the case.
If I lived in the area that he was getting out in, I'd definitely keep an eye on him.
It's both amazing and chilling to me, and I'm sure the victims' families, to think that these two could be back on the streets and living in your neighbourhood. We'll, of course, continue to follow the story, and you can see more of the interview with the vampire killer right now at our website. That's crimewatchdaily.com.
Interesting. We might have to go back and watch some more of his thing. Let me go back. I don't know why it closed, but they do have video of the sentencing phase, which would be cool to watch, right? So, because I think some of them actually testify. So, let's go watch that, yeah? Yeah. But before we start that, let's try. I'm following you now. Let me know if you need mod when I'm around. Sometimes over here you might. Oh, actually, Shani, that's an excellent idea. If I can figure out how to do that. I don't know if I know how to do it. But let's see. Mod actions. Doop doop boop boo. I don't know. I don't know how to do it. I'll figure it out someday. Maybe you can tell me, Shinny, how to do it. I know that you've used it over here before. Because I just don't know how... Oh. Oh, no, don't ban Shinny. That would be rude. Whatever, we'll figure it out. Carry on. Nobody wants to see me boomer this. Right? Alright, let's go back. It already started without me. Pause. Open. Blah. Blah. It's true. It is true. I am a woman. I can't figure out things. And here we go. And so what we're going to do before we start that, maybe, before my computer starts to freak out, we're going to do another snack. Here we go. Oh, this one looks fun. Okay, let's see. I think I got it, Shinny. Maybe. There we go, Shinny. We got you. We got you. We're all good to go. Okay. So, snack? Yeah. This one looks fun. Victory pie. I don't know what a victory pie is, but it has a nice little strawberry situation on the back. That sounds fun. So, yes, chocolate cookie pie situation. Well, that's very good. Not bad. Don't hate it. Don't hate it. Yes, I do eat a lot of snacks. I have a whole channel where I try snacks. Solid deduction skills. Yes, I did. Thank you, Shinny. I really appreciate it. You're about to find out. Like a moon... Yeah, it is kind of like a... It's like a strawberry moon pie. I like it. Moo. Okay, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
Whoops.
The defendant has pled guilty to 2 counts of murder in the first degree as to counts 3 and 4 of the indictment. Consequently, you will not concern yourselves with the question of his guilt. The punishment for these crimes is either death or life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. Final decision as to what punishment shall be imposed rests solely with the judge of this court. That's me. However, the law requires that you, the jury, render to the court an advisory sentence as to what punishment should be imposed upon the defendant. The law also requires the court to give great weight to your sentencing recommendation. I may reject your sentencing recommendation only if the facts are so clear and convincing that virtually no reasonable person could differ. The state and the defendant may now present evidence relative to the nature of the crime and the character of the defendant. You are instructed that this evidence is presented in order that you might determine, first, whether sufficient aggravating circumstances exist that would justify the imposition of the death penalty, and second, whether there are mitigating circumstances sufficient to outweigh the aggravating circumstances, if any. At the conclusion of the taking of the evidence and after argument of counsel, you will be instructed on the factors in aggravation and mitigation that you may consider. As I've earlier instructed you, the defendant has the absolute right to remain silent. From the exercise of a defendant's right to remain silent, a jury is not permitted to draw any inference, and the fact that a defendant did not take the witness stand must not influence your advisory verdict in any manner. At this time, the attorneys are going to make opening statements to you. You'll recall, if they choose, you'll recall that we told you opening statements give the attorneys a chance to tell you what evidence they believe will be presented during this phase of this trial. What the lawyers say is not evidence, it is not instruction on the law, and you should not consider it as such. We'll ask you give both sides your careful attention. Mr. King.
Thank you. Last week when you were here, as we began this process, each and every one of you swore an oath. That oath said, in essence, that you would become responsible to make a decision, and that you would make a decision that in this case spoke two things: truth and justice. This part of the trial is for us to give you an overview of what we expect to show you.
Oh my God. Talk faster, please. Okay, so I know that I talk fast. I understand that. I understand I'm a fast talker. But my gosh, why is he talking so slow? There's no way to speed it up either. I don't think. I can't, like, I can turn on closed captions and I can do all that, but there's no option for that. So we'll just have to live in slow land together, I guess.
Our case to you on behalf of the state of Florida will be narrow, it will be hopefully concise, and it will be directed towards showing you two things: the circumstances surrounding the events that led to the death of Richard Wendorf and Naomi Queen, and two specific, what we have called throughout the course of this, aggravating circumstances. And the judge at the close of the trial will tell you what they are.
Like they thought they were vampires.
But that is going to be the focus of the state of Florida's case.
Of course it was Florida. Of course it was Florida. Why wouldn't it be? Florida is a standard vampire hangout. All that sun is good for them, right?
We will not attempt to set forth to you, as I told you early on, that these murders were the result of a vampire or of a cult. What we intend to show you is that these murders were the result of choice.
Yes.
Of a decision. They were the result of a personal decision of a person. That person was Rod Farrell.
Personal decision of a person.
So the context of our case to you will be the context of choice, of decisions, and of responsibility for those decisions. You will, first of all, as a part of this case, hear the circumstances of the crimes which now Mr. Farrell has admitted that he committed. Burglary, which is entering someone else's home without their consent with the intent to commit a crime in their home. Robbery, taking someone's property against their will by the use or threat of force. And murder, that is taking someone's life by an act that was premeditated. What you are also going to hear through the course of the state's evidence and the testimony are how these crimes were committed, the context of the crimes that gives rise to the aggravating circumstances that we talked about. We will show you that they were committed after Mr. Farrell had been convicted of, that the sentencing today actually is after he was convicted of another capital felony. Now it sounds strange, but the proof of that is going to be in the judgment and sentence of this court, where he was adjudged guilty for murder. And that is something you can consider in imposing sentence here today, that he committed two separate murders. You're going to hear evidence to show you that these murders were committed during the course of an armed robbery, the entry into the home. You're going to hear that these murders were committed in order to avoid or prevent an arrest or to help effect an escape. You're going to hear that the murders were committed for financial gain. You're going to hear that the way these murders were committed were what the law calls especially heinous, atrocious, cruel. And you will also hear that these murders were not just premeditated. That is, at the time of the killing, there was an intent to kill. But they were pre-planned before the burglary ever took place. They were cold, calculated, and premeditated murders. Now, to show you those proofs, we have, in essence, for the state of Florida, divided the evidence into 5 parts. And what we will try to do for you is to keep those parts together so that as you assimilate all of this testimony and all of these documents over the course of time, you can fit them with their part. But I can also tell you that's not exactly going to happen because there are expert witnesses that you will hear from. Some of those people from out of the state of Florida. So we have to arrange with their schedule to get them here when we can get them here. So some of it will be somewhat out of place. But within the overall context of the trial, look for 5 things that the state of Florida will show you through the testimony. What Mr. Farrell did, first of all, the murders themselves. Look at the evidence that he left behind in the home of Richard and Naomi Windorf that shows you that he did. Look at what he was even doing here that set this into motion. Look at where he went to after the murders occurred. And finally, look at what he said about the murders that he committed.
Okay, so can we talk about how that was really nice? I mean, I know he's not finished yet, but the fact that he laid out the different areas, if they can keep it that organized this entire time, that will be excellent because that was nice. You know, just a little signposting overview so you can follow along. Love that. All right, let's do another snack before we hit play again. Oh, whoops, I forgot about the coffee ones. We'll have to try that a different day. This is a French pie from Korea. I don't know what a French pie is. I don't know what a Korean French pie is. It's by Hitachi. Smile package. Whatever that means. I do need to ask Danny or Jeff for help because they probably know way more about this than I do. All right. So many of these are just like weird, like biscuit cracker things. Okay. Wow, this smells oh, man. Man. Come on now. Look. Yeah? Like, that's kind of sad. Look at... That looks like somebody had a bad night, but... Oh, that's nice. Legitimately getting what? See? Everywhere. Everywhere. Why are all these snacks so crumbly? Why? It's so unnecessary. The best snacks, the crumbly snacks? Like, what is going on? Okay. All right. That was nice. That kind of tasted like one of those Danish things that you can get at the gas station. You know what I'm talking about? Like one of those Danishes you can do, like cheese Danish or strawberry Danish or cherry Danish. I'm sure it's not a real Danish. Nobody tell Baker that I'm calling that a Danish. But this one is obviously very crumbly, but it's really, really light. It's kind of like a dried croissant. I don't know. That's nice. I'd eat it.
Those are the 5 areas that we will present to you. The presentation will start with what he did. What you will hear is that at the Windorf home, there was Richard, Naomi, Jennifer, and Heather. On the evening of November the 25th, 1996, Jennifer came home fairly mid-evening, about 9 o'clock or so in the evening. When she came home, she found something that to her was a startling event. She walked into the house and she finds...
Madam Chair, please. Close the beer.
There was a call placed to the emergency 911 line, and because of that call, Deputy Taylor responds to the scene. He secures the scene, the home. He obviously goes in to check to see what is there, what the situation is, so that he can know who to call, what other help he needs, if there's anybody else in the home, all of those things that you would expect a policeman to do, he did. And once he had determined there was nobody else in the home, no perpetrators there, that it was obvious that both Mr. Windorf and Miss Queen were dead, he steps out of the house, secures the scene, and waits for the investigators to arrive. And they do arrive.
That's kind of him.
Right around midnight that night, you will hear that Farley Caudell, typically called Jake, arrived at the scene and began the process of entering the house to find exactly what was there, what the situation was, and to collect the evidence. And I think you're going to hear that process in and of itself took hours and hours to get to the house, then to get into the house, because of their concern about disturbing any evidence, that they were going to take photographs, they were going to do everything the way things ought to be done for them to get into the house. And it isn't until the next afternoon that the medical examiner, Dr. Hare, is even allowed into the house to initially check the bodies where they lay, so that she can examine and determine what's there, what is significant to her as the medical examiner. The bodies are then removed. She takes the bodies not personally, but through her company to the morgue, and an autopsy is performed.
Not personally. She didn't
And
like strap him in her
you're going to hear her
car.
describe for you the beating that both Mr. Windorf and Miss Queen suffered
It's sad.
in this case. And it is not going to be pretty, but it's a fact that you have to consider.
Excellent.
And you're going to be asked to look at that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will be the proof of what he did. Now, what did he leave? You will hear from Mr. Caudell and Mr. Binkley, who was another evidence technician for the Lake County Sheriff's Office, that there was a process by which that they began to collect evidence, both at the scene of the house and at the autopsy, where the bodies were examined. And part of what you will hear is that in the house, on the kitchen floor, there were footprints, shoe prints. Technically, they were boot prints.
Technically.
On the kitchen floor, both just on the floor in what we call a latent print, that is something that's left in the course of movement, but that there were two others. They were in blood, and they were immediately at the right-hand side of Naomi Queen.
Interesting.
And you will hear from the evidence.
Clean up your boot prints,
They
friends.
were the boots that Rod Farrell was wearing. What else did he leave? He left another piece of evidence, not in the house, but on Miss Queen. He didn't leave that evidence intentionally, because the facts will show that as part of this event, Miss Queen, who confronts him in the house, recognizes what's going on and scratches his face. And from the autopsy, you will hear that her fingernails were collected and that underneath her fingernails was genetic material, DNA evidence, matches Rod Farrell. You will hear what he left at the scene that proves what he did. You're also going to hear, to some extent, about why he was here, what he was doing here. You're going to hear from friends of his that he...
So hopefully I didn't say anything interesting because I just boomer muted myself, but, you know, that's cool. Carry on.
Was here from Kentucky, having moved away in December of 1995, that he was here, as he called it, on a road trip. You're going to hear from a young lady named Shannon Yohe and a young lady named Audrey Presson, if she makes it back from New York, that they both saw Mr. Farrell, along with another person named Scott Anderson, with Dana Cooper, and with Charity Cassie, who most people call Shay, that they saw those four both Sunday night and Monday, November the 24th and the 25th, that they were down here visiting.
Oh, the visiting, probably.
I expect that you will hear Ms. Presson say that as a part of the conversation with her, Mr. Farrell, and Mr. Anderson, that there was a discussion about something big that was going to happen the next night, Monday night, the night that Mr. Windorf and Ms. Queen were killed.
Let's try another snack. This man talks so slow. Holy cow. Okay, another snack. Let's go. I grabbed these, but I don't know if I want to try them. These look a little sketchy. Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. I don't know what they are. I'm assuming it just says Korean traditional snack. Let's make myself. Okay. On the back it says Korean traditional snack. So, wish me luck, I guess. It has the California cancer warning, which is interesting. Product of Korea. Okay. Let's do it. Maybe. Why are these so hard to... Is it me? Am I the problem? Alright, well, enjoy these. Oh. Okay, sorry. I know that was like right in the microphone. You guys probably didn't love that. Alright, first of all, that's what they look like on the package, yeah? So I was almost expecting some sort of spicy Tito situation. They're actually... Seriously? Stuff in my keyboard. Okay. Yeah? That's, peanutty? Sesame-y? Is that a word? Sesame-like? It's not bad. I'll just see if the kid will want to eat them. They're sweet. I wasn't expecting it to be sweet. I thought it was going to be a salty snack. It's a sweet snack. Alright.
I expect that you may well hear that that group of four were here in part to help Heather Windorf and Janine LeClaire run away from home. And that was part of their purpose, the purpose of Mr. Farrell, Mr. Anderson, Ms. Cooper, and Ms. Cassie in being in Florida. And you're going to hear about that. You will also hear that after the murders occurred and Mr. Farrell's Explorer was taken from the home, as well as some of his credit cards, that this group of what turns out to be 5 Mr. Farrell,
I tried.
Mr. Anderson.
There wasn't any
Cooper,
option for that.
Ms. Cassee, and now Heather Windorf travel from Eustis, Florida to New Orleans, Louisiana, and Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
No?
And part of that you
There's
will
the
see,
scissors.
I believe, that Mr.
Okay.
Windorf's credit card was
Yep.
used in Tallahassee to buy something at Walmart and to buy gas at an Amoco station.
Fishy
and
these?
again used out in the Panhandle near Crestview to buy gas.
Oh, you guys probably want to see this,
on
yeah?
November the 26th,
Sorry.
1996,
There you go.
the day after he was killed. What you will hear also is that because of the investigation that was ongoing, the Lake County Sheriff's Office had put out information to be on the lookout for this explorer with the Kentucky tag and with these 5 people inside. And that as a part of that information and the search for this vehicle, that the Baton Rouge Police Department began an investigation based on a phone call that had been made from Baton Rouge to Ms. Cassee's, one of Ms. Cassee's relatives. And that as a result of that investigation, the Baton Rouge Police Department found those 5 people and Mr. Windorf's Ford Explorer backed into a parking space at a Ramada Inn in Baton Rouge.
Of course it was a Ramada Inn. Okay, so anybody just joining, first of all, Grift is in the name, so that's what we're going to do. I realize I don't have a banner. Yeah? Yeah, banner. Okay, so here's what we're doing. This is the sentencing phase of a trial where the defendant was involved in a vampire cult. He thought he was a 500-year-old vampire. He pled guilty to... Pleaded to the charges of unaliving 2 people, as well as 3 other people did. 1 they were not able to convict. And this is the sentencing phase, which it kind of seems like, so this is in Florida. It does seem like they are basically doing a whole trial, not to determine guilt, but to determine the sentence. So we should get a lot of the details as if we were able to see a trial. So that should be fairly interesting. Apparently, according to Sir Prosecutor, though, the vampire stuff doesn't actually have anything to do with it, but we'll see.
Louisiana on Thanksgiving evening, 1996. That's what you're going to hear about where they went. Finally, you're going to hear about what Mr. Farrell said about these events.
What did he say?
Not just what he said about them after the event, what he said about it before the event. You're going to hear from Miss Shannon Yohe that on Monday, before they left to go get Janine LeClaire and Heather Windorf to run away, that Rod Farrell was already talking about killing Mr. and Mrs. Windorf, or Ms. Queen, in order to take their car, because they needed a bigger car. And that there was discussion among him and Mr. Anderson in Shannon Yohe's presence. That's what they were going to do. You are also going to hear that in Baton Rouge, after he was arrested, that he made 2 statements. One to Sergeant Ben Odom of the Baton Rouge Police Department, and one to Al Gusler of the Lake County Sheriff's Office.
And what did he say?
In both of those statements, he details having determined to kill the Windorf family, going into the house, finding a crowbar, going into the home itself out of the garage, finding Mr. Windorf asleep on the couch, and beating him to death with that crowbar.
That was not nice, sir.
And then, after he has finished that murder, he turns to be confronted by Naomi Queen in the kitchen.
just
He's
standing
going
there
to
the whole
tell you
time?
that there was a short verbal exchange. She threw her coffee on him. She scratched him in the face.
Yes, girl, fight. Good job.
And he beat her with the crowbar.
I mean, I guess
The
it didn't
evidence
matter,
will
but
show you
she
that
tried.
She crossed the kitchen, dripping blood, fell in the doorway.
It's getting
between
real
the
close to the
kitchen
jurors.
and the dining room, and that he beat her, and he beat her, and he beat her, until literally he beat her brains out.
Gross.
That's what he's going to tell you that he did on that night in that house. All of those proofs are going to go to show you the circumstances of the murder, the planning that went into them, the reasons that went into them, the effect that they had on the people that were killed, the heinous, atrocious, and cruel nature of the crimes. Those facts are going to prove to you the aggravating circumstances. The defense is going to have the opportunity to prove to you what are called mitigating circumstances. And while I would not presume to know exactly what they're going to tell you, part of it I know because of the documentation of the case. I expect that they're going to call mental health professionals to you, to have them talk to you about Mr. Farrell's upbringing and his IQ and his mental disorders and those kinds of things. Mm-hmm. And what I would caution you in that regard is to treat them like you treat every other witness. Listen to what they had the ability to know for a fact. And listen to how they used those facts in arriving at any conclusion. Because they are like everybody else. They come to you with some presumption of expertise. Mm-hmm. But listen to what they had to work with and how they worked with it. And I think you'll see that the saying is true. You put garbage in, you can't help. Thank you, Your Honor. You can't help but get garbage out. So listen carefully as they talk to you about what tests they did, what they talked to Mr. Farrell about, and how they came to arrive at their conclusion. Because that's going to be important in your assessment of their credibility. And in the end, you weigh. You determine. No one determines for you. You determine what verdict will speak truth and justice in this case. Thank you.
Okay, so I really liked those, I really liked his opening statement. Sorry, I'm like trying to do like 47 things at once, but okay. So I need to like close 10 different tabs too. This guy is like Mr. Roger. Yeah, he does have kind of a nice, soothing voice. It's just slow. I know. I wish there was a way to speed it up, but I think because it's on court TV, like I didn't see any options for that. There's just caption settings. There's no... Oh man, there's a lot of videos. Holy cow. Do we get to see him testify? I really hope so. That would be cool if we got to see him testify. Oh, he does. On his own behalf. Look at that. Yes. Can't wait. Okay. Cool. So we're going to stop there. Next we have the defense. We'll watch that next week and probably another one. I know. That is the only problem. I wonder if I can find this on YouTube and I can speed it up rather than watching it from the Court TV site. Like, maybe I can find it somewhere. That way we don't have to, like... Otherwise, this is going to take 100 years. This guy might be out of prison before we can figure it out. So, okay. Let's end the stream with one more snack, even though I don't really want to. We've made some solid progress on this box, but this is still how much I have to go. Whoa, oops. So I guess we're going to do Korean Snacks Part 3 next week, unless you guys are tired of Korean snacks, and then I'll figure something out. This is called a butter waffle. At least that's what it says. Have a good time with the butter waffles of Crown. Well, me and these butter waffles should be very happy together. This might be. A lot of these snacks, like, so I only take a couple bites of them on stream. I don't snack a whole lot anymore. But a lot of these I save and repurpose for the Tots lunch. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's like a waffle cone. It's just a flat... Dang! Anybody ever wanted a waffle cone, but flat? Here you go. You can make a little waffle sandwich. It exactly tastes like a waffle cone. I like it. I support it. Use it for an ice cream dip. So, that is what we have for tonight. I am going to make a note about where we were at on this video, so we don't have to rewatch all of that. Mr. Slow, let's just hope and pray that the prosecutor or the defense attorney is a lot faster when he talks, because I don't know if I can watch that. You get the idea. We'll figure it out. We'll find something. So, okay, that is it for now. I really appreciate everybody stopping by. I would love to redirect you to another stream, but I'm not cool enough to redirect yet. They won't let me. So, or maybe they do, and I don't know how. Oh, yeah. I have to have more subscribers. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. You know, there's people streaming. I would love to send you guys to them, but I can't. But that being said, if you have not, please subscribe. It helps. I'll be able to redirect you in the future if you have subscribed. Please like the video. My channel is teeny tiny. We're growing. We're working on it. I appreciate everybody coming here. I appreciate your support. That being said, I think that's all for tonight. Enjoy our Sunday sampler song. Hopefully, we will have a fun video to go with it next week. We shall see. All right. Night, guys. Thank you.
Your headphones. It's time to go to the Sunday sampler. Don't be slow, we can try something new. Each week from music to magic, come take a peek. No more boring Sundays. We're gonna shine with surprises and wonders. You'll be just fine. From cooking to painting and everything between. Sunday sampler is the best thing you've seen. Sunday sampler.